I'm just me.
And I'm Ralgash.
And spoilers.
Dun 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 dun.
We're gonna review 47 Meters Down. I'm gonna ruin the ending for you. I'm going to ruin everything for you. Spoilers? Spoilers. You can't unhear these spoilers. Okay. Ready?
It's not too late now. You could like wait till after you watch the movie for yourself and then come back to us.
I do recommend you watch the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so sisters on vacation meet up with these mildly skeezy guys at like a nightclub or something.
Mm-hmm.
These guys convince them to go cage diving with great whites the next day. So, character development, one of these sisters is really outgoing and the other one is really shy. Yay. Apparently that's going to be a thing through the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, like idiots, they actually show up and go cage diving with these mildly scuzzy guys. And on the boat is an extra super scuzzy guy, because you need one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So they get on this rickety-ass boat with these mildly scuzzy guys and this really scuzzy guy, and they go out, and the guys go in the cage first. They're in the cage and everything's going fine, and then the guys come up and the girls go in, but because it's rickety, the chain snaps and they plummet to their doom!
47 meters below the sea.
Dun dun dun! And naturally get trapped inside the cage.
Yep.
Which is better than being outside the cage, as we will learn several times.
Mm. Well, there's like a few facts that are thrown at you, and then there's like stuff I'm kind of because I'm pretty sure at one point the shark would have just gave up and swam away.
See, that's one of the things I wanted to say about this movie. It seems contrived, and the first time through I was like, this is so stupid. But when you stop and look beyond the effects, yeah, that kind of is how great whites hunt that far down. Like, we all know that they'll like come up and like bite you and just roar.
Yeah.
But when they're near the bottom, they will just kind of swoop, 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 harr, and then keep going. It's just,
yeah.
Like, bite things in midair, you know?
Yeah. Spit it out if it's not tasty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all those times that the scary shark comes around a corner is like, harr! Yeah, that's the thing that happens. That's spear divers actually die that way.
Ah, okay.
Not commonly, because shark attacks are not that common. But I mean that's the thing that happens. If you look like a seal, they're gonna chase you like a seal. And unfortunately, there's no way for a human not to look like a seal in a wetsuit.
Yep.
So the effects are not good. They're not the worst I've ever seen, but they're not good. They're not going to age well. When the sharks move quickly, you can tell they're fake.
Yep. And then at one point, the girl thinks that she's. It's weird. There's two stories. There's one in her head, and then there's another one. Actually, there's kind of like three stories if you think about it.
No, only two. The first story is that her and her sister plummet to the bottom. They manage to communicate topside that they need help. That actually happens.
Mm.
So they say that they need help, and the guy says, "Get back in the bloody cage, oh god!" So she gets back in the cage, and then they wait, and then communicate, and blah, 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 blah. You know how movies go. And eventually they send down extra air. They manage to get the tanks. The one sister immediately gets eaten by a shark, because movies. And the other sister is left alone, inexperienced with diving equipment, and manages to get one of the air tanks, switch over, doesn't know how to breathe properly, and immediately suffers from hypoxia. And begins to hallucinate.
Yeah. She goes on a trip.
It's trippy, alright.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the scene I had the biggest problem with when I was watching the trailers for this. There's a point where the two sisters are making a break for it, they're swimming up to the surface, and there's a point where they have to wait and decompress, which is totally a thing that happens. That's a thing that actually has to happen. So they're hovering and they're like waiting for them to be decompressed, and a flare goes out. I don't actually know if flares and light repel sharks or if they would attract them. I haven't looked that up. But that's a theme that they have. Light keeps the sharks away. So they're there and they have the flares and one goes out and they're struggling and oh god, and they light the next one and there's like 6 or whatever sharks just there.
Circling. Circling.
Just hovering. They're all just hovering. They're like... And the first time through in the trailers, I was like, sharks can't do that! Because I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
But in context, in the movie, because it's a hallucination, that scene makes sense now. That scene makes sense now.
Yeah, they get brutally murdered by sharks on their way up to the boat.
Yeah, that happens too. It's pretty epic.
Yeah.
And then she's lying in the boat, on the boat, and she's like, we made it, and she looks at her hand and the blood, because she cut her hand, obviously. They cut all kinds of bits and pieces of themselves.
And the blood's like floating off into the air.
Like, yeah. And then we realized that what just happened was not real. Sharks can't hover, I told you. And she's actually in the cage, basically bleeding out and completely hypoxic.
And trapped.
Completely trapped.
Yeah.
And it ends with the Coast Guard coming.
Yeah.
Deep sea divers come and rescue her.
Yeah. And she's completely out of her mind at that point.
Yep. And her sister is definitely dead.
Yeah.
There's a point in it where you're like, so did the sister really die? Are you gonna find her or something? But no, I'm pretty sure she dies.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was dead. Yeah. Like she was out of oxygen too, right? So.
Well,
and there was only one oxygen tank between the two of them.
No, they got more.
Oh yeah?
Like, they dropped down the extra tanks, and then the skinny blonde one. That's how important these characters truly were in the grand scheme of things. They could have been anybody, and literally anybody in the situation. So, little blonde one, she goes out and she gets the extra tanks and switches herself over, takes them over to her sister, is about to give it over, but then the shark comes and she's like, oh no, so she gets down. And then she's about to be safe because the shark was going to circle back and then bug her off because that's what they do. But she didn't wait, so she stood up and hoom. That's the sound that sharks make. Hoom. I didn't notice. These ones didn't growl, did they?
No.
These sharks didn't make any noise.
No. No noises.
I truly appreciate that.
Yep.
Because there are some movies where the sharks growl and you're like...
What?
Why do these baby sharks sound like Chidori? I don't understand. I probably pronounced that wrong. Anyway.
They were cute, those little baby sharks in that one movie. Yeah. No baby sharks in this movie. We're just...
No. Just normal, regular sharks.
Yep.
Being all sharky. It's not the worst movie. Like, you go into it and you're thinking it's gonna be really camp and stupid, like most shark movies. And like I said, the effects are not good. They're
but
not
the story's
going to
good.
hold up.
The story is good.
I don't know about good, but it's different.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That is my opinion on 47 Meters Down.
I actually enjoyed the movie, even though the special effects weren't that great. So, I would say definitely watch it. If not for the special effects, for the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just watch it anyway.
So I guess that happened.
Like this if you like this.
Comment.
Subscribe for new videos twice a week.
Tune in next time when we're doing something else.
Definitely
I wonder what that could be.
You're gonna move the table again.
Oh, oops.
Anyway.
Bye. So there was these women and a couple of guys and a boat, and they liked going inside a cage and diving down in the water to watch the shark. And they would entice the shark with fish guts or whatever it was they were throwing over as bait, and the shark would come around and whatever, right? And so the guys came back up, they were safe, and then something went horribly wrong when the girls went down.